Hi, Mecca. So we can go out and then we can come back and clean. The question is, where are we going to go when we go out? Where are we going to go out? Come back here. Okay. Change my phone plan. Look at this thing's undone. Man. This thing is in the way. Okay. Are we ready, Mecca? Are you ready? Am I ready? What else do you or I need to know, Mecca? What time is it? 2-unit voluntary departure prayer. A mail bag for that stuff. 11:50. Prayer time notice. The beige mail bag. You need your brush. I have a brush in here. Water bottle. Brush. Water bottle. Carry bag, mail bag. Any chance to find it? I don't see it. Gotta get back in here. And I don't know where that bag is that would be good to, there's a canvas bag. Time to go. Here's a bag. Knuckle sandwich. We gotta go out and come back. Hi, Mecca. You resting? You ready to go out? Okay. You thirsty? Okay. Come on, Mecca. Time to go outside. Briefly. Wow. Good. Good. Wow, your hair grew a lot. Good. Good. Okay, come on. Come on, Mecca. Come on. Let's go outside. Is there any reason we should not leave this area now? Is it peacefully happy here? Yeah. Is anyone else trying to get here? Who's honked or sirened a couple of times? Did we leave anything we need to pick up? Do we need to leave anything? Do we have everybody? Did we thank our friends sufficiently for a real good time? Thanks for a real good time, Apple and Desk and Ben and Fourlands and who else? Did we leave things better than we found them? The 10 commands. When our Creator calls, we come. This is the first and great command. Come on, Mecca. And the second is like unto it. Come together. Walk side by side. And the third command, honor thy mother and father. Seek entrances and exits for all, so that none might perish, but find eternal next. Likewise, seek equal rights for our wives. Mecca, stay, so we're equal as the teeth on a comb. And the fourth command, thou shalt not covet. Waldorf Tire, wholesale division. Hi, how you doing? What's happening? Cross-reference DLSD 25, Waldorf cafeteria, wholesalers, keeping who's central nervous system elevated. Be brave and be fair. And what do you smell, Mecca? Hi. Safeway. Good, Mecca. Good. The flatbed is all green wood lots except for one thing, like proportionally the size of a movie screen. Here's a picture here, Mecca, for our continuing album. Here's 2 greens and an orange. Hi. Come here, Mecca. Good. Good, Mecca. Good. Hi. Teamwork. Hi. Families. And the largest minority, the individual. Hi. Hi. Good. Now what should we do, Mecca? Hi. Do you guys think the members and staff should get a government subsidy for their health care, or should they be under the same plan as everyone else?
I have no idea. I'm not about politics.
Oh, okay. Well, beauty and function, both.
Well, we're plenty smart, don't you worry.
Something or other, what, don't worry? Well, beauty counts as much as function.
We're in grad school, thanks.
Hi. I think she understood. She said, we're something or other, thanks. So, got that. Hi. What do you see, Mecca? You want to go this way? Hi. Gold Premium 277 Cab Essen. Holmes Mechanical Contractors. Roll your shoulders, shake out your arms, stay loose. Way to lean into it. Good. Wow, real long stride, huh, Mecca? Looks like American Indians. How are you today, who? Pardon me?
Huh?
I say, how are you today, who?
Good, how are you?
Okay,
Beautiful dog you have.
yeah, God does good work, doesn't God? You're the first.
Is she?
This is Mecca, the Afghan Hound Service canine.
Pretty. I've never seen a dog like that.
Yeah, I didn't know they existed until. I mean, it's not like the first breed of dog you ever hear about.
She hyper? Is it a she or he?
Well, I try to avoid those pronouns because so much strife has occurred. Glass ceilings on women and sexism and marriage issues about who can marry who and stuff. So to keep the kids interested, I try to stick with the name. It's a little more effort to say Mecca or
Is that a good dog?
or Liberty. Yeah, Mecca's a good dog.
Hey. Looks kind of like a greyhound.
Yeah, the greyhounds might have gone down the other side of the mountain. That's the way who else explained it. This is pretty smart to have your car right behind you to guard your back. Or just a coincidence?
That's not what it's meant for.
Okay. There's no other place to park it, huh?
It works out. It does guard my back.
Yeah, guard your back. What else could it do?
That's about it.
Yeah, that's about all it can do the way it's built. We'd have to rewrite the job description for the thing to upgrade it. Maybe put some extra batteries in the back so it would work without idling. God willing, I hope.
How old is Mecca?
Young, that's another area that there's a lot of discrimination about age, so I try to stick with young. There's a Mayflower and some attorney in a sports car, Sun Cab and Holidays, and who's got their wristwatch out the window, maybe looking to get to Beware on time. All the poor heroin addicts have to get their heroin by a certain time or they start to get really withdrawal symptoms. West Virginia, FBI. So how long do you think you can hold out and continue to work if you don't get a paycheck?
Not long, because I have a long drive. Gas isn't free, unfortunately.
Do you think?
I personally don't want to live here.
Uh-huh. If you,
Don't worry, the president still gets paid and the members of Congress will still get their paychecks.
yeah, and they get subsidies for their health care too. The Republicans were trying to remove the subsidy for the health care and see if they'd still shut down the government over that one issue. Kind of, there's Rock Creek.
It's beyond me.
We're supposed to, our income, one food, shelter, clothing, and savings. 1/4 of our income is supposed to go to each category.
I don't know who can afford that.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the system if you can't afford that. That's the formula for happiness.
Over half of my income goes towards my housing.
Half. See, yeah, that's twice as much as it's supposed to be. It's only supposed to be 1/4.
Unfortunately, there's nothing cheaper though.
Then the wage should be higher, so that it's 1/4. And that way you'd have some savings because you're spending all your savings. And that way you could hold out because you've been working for a few years. You would have enough savings you could hold out.
Not how it works though.
Right.
Half goes to housing, 1/4 goes to paying for college. Because I can't get any kind of federal aid or anything like that.
So that leaves you 1/4 for your food and your clothing and your savings. Well, gas is a form of food, but it's for the car. But yeah.
So I won't be able to afford it for long.
Yeah, you're living on 1/4 of your income. 3/4 of it's siphoned off in the housing and the college. 3/4.
All I can say is I hope they get it figured out. It doesn't seem like they're in that big of a hurry because then it's not even coming in until later.
Yeah, I figured it out. My mom was an economist at Vassar College. She was a Phi Beta Kappa. She was really smart, but she was too nervous. She smoked herself to death.
She get cancer?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, those Salem menthol cigarettes. Ugh. But she taught me that 1/4 of each category and a few other things so that when I finally got to business school, I pretty well understood what they were teaching, even though I didn't get good grades. I flunked out, but I lasted a year. And one of the most important principles there is $1 now is worth more than $1 later. So you can take your future free cash flows, the stream of dollars out into the future, and discount them, bring them back to a net present value. So you can trade the future free. You say you own a McDonald's and you know you're going to be selling hamburgers for 50, 20 or 30 years of hamburger sales. You map out what all those sales are going to be, and then you say to the guy, okay, I'll take half of all that money right now, because then I'll go invest it in alternate energy or something. I'll make as much as you will, if not more. And the other guy says, well, I know McDonald's, I trust that investment. Okay, here's half. Let me have all those cash flows from the McDonald's. You go out and take the risk with the alternate energy. Good luck. And you can do the same thing with the U.S. gross domestic product of our country. You can look into the future and say it goes out for 2.5 billion years we have left before the red nova event and the sun blow up and we got to be somewhere else. So 2.5 billion years times like 17 trillion a year we're making now. You figure that's going to go up as time goes on. About be 100 trillion eventually.
Hi, I'm trying to find a Jefferson bill.
Walk up to First Street up there and make a left.
Make a left. Is there parking anywhere up there?
You'll have to look around for meters or getting
Hi. Whoa. Teamwork.
You starting there?
Families. Yeah, it's a free country. You can get a little lost. You can ask questions. You can go up to anyone and talk to them until they indicate otherwise. What a great deal. So people look at the little babies there, they say, well, you take all the potential earnings of the baby over the lifetime and discount it back to right now, those babies are worth $100,000 each or something. And you say, yeah, but you didn't go far enough. Those babies are going to have babies. And then those babies are going to have babies. So those babies represent cash flow out for hundreds of years, thousands of years. God willing that, their family doesn't go extinct or something horrible happen or somebody decide they just don't want to get married anymore. So instead of valuing that baby at $100,000 based on 50 years of work or whatever it is, you can then say that baby's worth $2 million based on the future generations that are coming through that baby. Then you can mint up the $2 million, put it in a bank account under trust. Perfect guard, dog. Just like a mom and a dad would oversee the account, you have time release covenants, you get a little allowance out of the 1 or 2 million, like a couple of thousand a month or something, so you always got money coming in, always got money coming in. And then if you have a wedding or a death or a birthday, maybe you get a little extra, but you got to be careful, because if you eat into the principal, then the earnings are going to go down, and the whole thing will get smaller, so you want to live off the earnings and never touch the principal. In fact, you want to put the earnings back in and make the principal grow. So then everybody has their families endowed, and you're paying for your health care yourself out of that steady allowance you get. You're paying for your food yourself instead of getting food stamps. All of a sudden, everyone's a lot more careful, because I'm spending my family inheritance. If I go over budget, I'm eating into my principal.
Too bad they don't live by that.
Right, yeah. They have it reversed. The mafias go in, they grab different parts of the government, they compete against each other. The Chicago Mafia, the Internet Mafia, the Italian Mafia, all the different ones grab something. And then they get a big pool of money and they try to get a bunch of clients that are dependent on that pool, so they stay up there high and they're important handing out money. But if everyone had money, all of a sudden they're not so important anymore. They mainly just making laws to direct traffic and repair bridges and do stuff. So they know about my idea. They let me talk to the empty chamber Saturday, kind of like this, at a pretty loud voice. So they heard me on the floor. No one's around, but they let me talk about this idea.
Good idea.
Well, thanks to my mom in large part for teaching, and my family, the finance and the school.
Smart woman.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what's going to happen this time, sort of like a speed bump, but if enough word gets around before too much more time goes by, we get ourselves elected, we got to set up like 350 million bank accounts for each citizen. Maybe there's a couple of 3 bank accounts associated. That's like almost 1 billion bank accounts, and it costs a lot of money to keep those bank accounts maintained. But you can do it. And it's probably cheaper than all the strife and the problems that we have otherwise. And instead of, this thing about ID and who's who, you get a City Hall screen name, like you do on the internet at AOL. You get a screen name, but it's like Joan of Arc at richmond.gov. So at the Richmond City Hall, Joan of Arc is a valid screen name, and it's linked to Betsy Thompson, her legal name, but only the Richmond City Hall knows her legal name, Betsy Thompson. Everyone else knows her as Joan of Arc at richmond.gov. So now she can sign a petition. Good dog. Do the bank account stuff. Have trustees, monitor her bank account. You get 10 people that look in there to make sure there's no embezzlement or fraud, no cheating going on. Be lucky if we can get 3 people to oversee each account. So many accounts. But you have privacy. So you get the best of both worlds. You got public checks and balances, people looking in that Treasury Trust account that's in your screen name, plus you can use your screen name and earn money auditing the government. A different question, a second question, is the elimination of taxes. It's independent of that first idea. And what you do is put these guys at the Congress on a constitutionally capped allowance. Every year, based on the gross domestic product of the United States, you take some percentage of that and you mint it up and you give it to them, and that's their allowance. Now there's more money in circulation, so that causes a little bit of inflation. And that takes a little value from every dollar-denominated asset in the world. So even the drug dealer with his money under the table, he's paying taxes automatically because that money under the table is worth a little less, like 1%, 2% less, because of the allowance that got paid and minted up.
Excuse me. Do you know which building Cannon is? Is it Cannon? I'm sorry. Do you know which building?
Hi.
It could be on the other side. Oh, it's on the other side. Is that? Okay. Is that, go one more block. Excuse me? Go one more block then. Go up here and make a right, and it's one block down on the left. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
It's this one next, which is on First Street.
So then we hire H&R Block and all the professional tax industry people, all those tax attorneys, and we pay them to audit the government spending. When we give the allowance to the government, we mint it up, give it to them, they're going to spend it. But now H&R Block, instead of auditing our stuff and looking at our address book, H&R Block's going to audit the government. So they stay in business. The tax industry's happy. They're going to get paid. So there's 2 major changes. And there's a third one. Elite 3232, elect. Perfect posture, who? Wow, really good shape. So, everyone always have enough money to keep going no matter what happens. It's like a national defense issue as much as anything. Everybody has 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 a month they know is going to come in and cover all the basics of the housing and the food and the clothing and the savings. But it's under covenant, so you know when you write the check for the housing, it's got to be a quarter of that. You can't spend it all, and that keeps it from spreading out into inflation. And when you're buying food,
They'd have to make housing more affordable then.
yeah, or you'd have to have a job as well as your allowance to afford the upscale housing. Now, the way you can make housing more affordable is that third part I didn't talk about yet. You look at all these assets around here, and you say they're more valuable than they're listed at. Because not only does it like the baby, not only the earnings for that baby's lifetime, but the babies that come out of that baby, and so on. So the building that's here, but the next building that's going to be here, and the next one, that represents the value. So it's really worth more than we appraise it at. So then you can use an accounting method instead of you reassess all the buildings and housing at the new higher value. Then you use this accounting trick for one day. The federal government is going to buy all the housing and own it for one day, and then sell it back to everybody for 1/2 of what the government paid for it. So everyone ends up with half the money in their own bank account. See, the government can't just mint up money without an asset behind it to back it up. So we reappraise all this stuff. It's worth 10 times what we're saying. Then the government condemns it all with eminent domain and says we're going to buy it for 12 times this new assessed value. So that's a large amount of money because it's being taken by eminent domain that justifies paying more than the assessed value, because the person would have to move normally. It dislocates your life, it interrupts you. But the deal here is the government signs a contract to sell it back to you the next day before they buy it. So your building was worth $1 million, it gets reassessed at $10 million, the government's going to pay you 10 times that because they're taking it from you. That's $100 million. The government pays $100 million to the Folger on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday the government asks for $50 million from Folger to buy it back from the government. So the Folger ends up with $50 million, and the government has $50 million on the $1 million building. Now everybody's made a lot of money, and the renters get a similar deal based on 1 year, 10 years of rental or something. Everybody gets a primed pump for their bank account. And the government did an inventory. It had to buy everything. It had to know what it purchased. So there's a master list of all these assets. Your car got purchased and sold back to you. Everything got purchased and sold back to you. And that lets the government mint up the money because they can say we got all these assets behind it. Okay, Riaz. Okay, Riaz. Hi. Hi. Hello, how are you? Hi. Benjamin Franklin, how are you? And your college or university would have their bank account replenished that way because the campus would have been purchased and sold back to them, so they could then not have to charge so much tuition. Yeah, God willing, I hope. Probably need to run a simulation, get some people from MIT to run all the numbers and prove it mathematically that it really works. But usually if you can explain it in 3 breaths or less, it's a simple enough idea that it'll work. You saying it's time to go? You want to walk? And how's your family?
They're all good.
Good. And how's everything?
Everything's good so far.
Well, glad to hear it. Please let us know if there's any way we can work with you.
All right. Have a good night.
It's unto you. You want to go in here in the bushes? Good, Meg. Sounds like who's saying too far, man, too far. Perfect, empty your bladder, Mecca. Another block. Library of Congress. Capitol, trying to get the mail put out. Oh, time to pray. Perfect, find the shade, Mecca. Here's Newport by the fire hydrant of the lungs. Menthol cigarettes. Kind of like the corner. Dome looks pretty from here. And there's a light on. Who's in session? I wonder what the timer's telling me. 9 minutes. I didn't offer who the new form of ID letter. I gotta make an ID. You wanna pray here, Mecca? It's kinda wet to pray here. This is the sewer. Gotta get a hold of the Green Party. I think that might have been them last night. There was one tweet, who's so responsive? Hi. Hi. Here's the yellow water tank. We're trying to get up one more block here. Nice clouds. They're lighter and fluffier than the other days have been, heavier and colder and more nimbus. These are definitely cumulus. Time to pray.
Nice dog.
Yeah, God does good work, doesn't God?
Well, she knows when she wants to take a pet like that, doesn't he? This dog knows.
This dog knows. Trying to get the mail out. Hi. You want to say a prayer? Okay. My God, who does not need. I gotta make intention better to pray. Okay. I and who else? Who are part of what prayer line or prayer lines, and possibly part of what Hajj group or Hajj groups, if I and who else are physically and financially able, now rejoin the intention to make or make up what prayer or prayers I and who else need to touch and hold. This would be Zer'er prayer for September 30th. What about dawn's early light, pre-dawn's early light Fajr prayer? Make a 2-unit arrival prayer, make the dawn's early light prayer up and have it also be a 2-unit arrival prayer? Okay, this will be a 2-unit prayer. That means I'll say our Lord's Prayer, Surah Al-Fatiha, twice before I ask for anything for myself. I can now make my call to prayer, find my prayer spot, see with whom I'm praying, address God, and begin my prayer. This should be about done. Time for the next unit. Allah Akbar. Okay, there's 5.